Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 Road to Glory series for 2019 for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Season 2. Last time out, we became best mates with the safety car. I've had a disaster of a race strategy, and now Kibita's out, but it's brought out the safety car, so that might just save our entire race, you know? Picking one for the team here. You see, my race strategy was out the window, and he thought, hang on, let me crash with someone, Aarav, I'll get you a safety car, and Bob's your uncle. We've got a great strategy now. And so going into this episode, I'm hoping my new best mate can maybe help us out again at Brazil and Abu Dhabi. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. That definitely was the biggest amount of good luck I've got. If you look at the entire situation of that race, it was probably going to be going in the bin before the safety car, and then after it completely saved. But going into this episode, then the Brazilian Grand Prix. Last time out with a failure of the upgrades. This episode, we have a double completion of the aerodynamics here. The front and rear downforce is coming to our car. So it's taken 20 episodes this season. 20 episodes. But finally, we've actually got some sort of aerodynamic upgrade on the car. It's taken them that long to relearn what aerodynamics is. It wasn't a case of us not spending the money, unable to, actually research and develop it. Literally, the team had to go back to the books, to university, and relearn what on earth AERO was, because they pretty much forgot it for these first 20 episodes. On the flip side of that, great news, unfortunately, we've got some rain forecast for the entire race at Brazil, so that's definitely going to put a damper on the entire situation. Not looking forward too much to Sunday right now. Maybe that extra aero, though, could kick in. Maybe it's going to be the perfect timing. But knowing this team, it really won't make much of a difference, will it? Because, let's face it, even the upgrade to the front wing and the rear wing is probably going to be the equivalent of maybe putting a piece of paper on it to weigh it down. We move in then to qualifying here. The one-shot quali lock-up on the front left through the first few turns, as per usual. Not doing too great against the AI, let alone in a Williams car. In general, I'm just not that great in those first two turns on the game versus the AI, but you can see here then as we go through into Sector 2, we're finding some time actually as we go down the hill and up the hill into the heart of Sector 2, so the engine power is still kind of coming through a little bit there, and actually medium speed corner speed was not too bad as we go up into P12 from P17 as we swing through that right-hander, as we go down the crest then to the last few corners of this lap up into P9 there, so it's actually not been too bad. Sector 2 was a bit better than I thought it would be, to be honest here, and obviously our engine power is going to help us maintain this pace. We go up the hill. Unfortunately, didn't gain enough time to actually gain any more places here, so it looks like we'll have to finish up in P9, but to be fair, from where we were at the very first sector, I will very much take that.
Good work.
And Jeff on the team ready, keeping it short and simple. I guess it's the end of the season really, so he's getting a bit tired. He can't really be asked for many words apart from top job. That's about it. I come to Abu Dhabi, he won't be saying anything. He's actually going to be mute at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix because he's basically going to be falling asleep. He's had to work so damn hard over this season, has he not? For this team, I wish. P9, Robert Kubica, and P13 about 4 tenths off us there. So to be fair, that's where the car seems to be in this kind of region there. Good to see Robert pulling his weight at the Brazilian GP, the last two races of this season, of course. But like I said, the rain tomorrow is going to be a big issue for us, I think. If we actually go into the intros for the Grand Prix, it doesn't actually look that wet actually out there. In terms of right now, it just looks like it's quite overcast condition. It is going to be, we are going to start on the intermediates, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, some of these camera shots, it doesn't even look like the track's even that wet, so I'm not too sure if there'll be like a little crossover period. Maybe, potentially, it could be kind of dries almost, but we're on the intermediates anyway, because it's the easiest way to go about it. But as we go onto the grid then, here in P9, look at the strategy. It's going to be a zero stop, of course, intermediates for the entire race, and it is going to be indication for light rain the entire race, but at the moment, the track looks very dry, so it's going to be a case of maybe the track gets a little bit wetter as we go on through the race, and finally then it kind of feels comfortable intermediates, but that might mean these first few laps are going to be very tricky for us in terms of the car feeling a little bit off balance because it's not quite wet enough maybe. And so with that, I'm ready for what could be quite a painful Grand Prix for us here in this second last race of this season. We go towards now 5 red lights to the Brazilian Grand Prix. P9 on the grid, and we're underway, and it's a bit of a ginger start there for us. You can see the track really doesn't look that damp until we get the spray off the cars ahead of us. Into turn 1 though, Albon is dived down the inside by Lando Norris there. Perez on the outside there, so Albon gets squeezed out by 2 cars there. We've got DNFs already into turn 1 with Magnussen out of the Grand Prix. We remain in P9 though, ahead at least of 1 McLaren. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, we're just trying to keep ahead of McLaren, our rivals, for the Constructors' Championship's sake. Obviously, there has been a little bit of tiny talk and joking about us being in the Drivers' Championship fight, but to be honest, did you ever really think we were going to be in the fight this season? Not personally, me, no. Obviously, mathematically, we're still there, but I think it's a bit of a joke that Jeff has even entertained it before. And here you go into Sector 2 now. It's a bit of a joke the way that Carlos Sainz able to just send one down the inside there. So for all the AERO upgrades we've done for this weekend, I don't feel like they're even working. I mean, Sainz just down the inside like it was nothing there, and I'm starting to wonder. I talked about, you know, to take 20 episodes for the team to get some AERO upgrades done. Are we sure that they still didn't know how aerodynamic upgrades worked? And maybe they brought the upgrades to the car, and what they've done is they've actually done the opposite. They've done the flip. They've actually brought upgrades that are producing lift rather than downforce. I wouldn't put it past Williams, to be fair, to get the kind of chalkboard the wrong way around and upside down the entire time when they're making these upgrades, but it certainly felt like that the way Sainz dived down the inside of myself. And also now he's got Sergio Perez there, so Sainz really making a charge. Perez back down the inside though, so they're side by side into turn 1, so we can close up to them a little bit here, but at the moment it's looking like it's going to be a bit of a long day for us here in this Grand Prix. The car's not feeling too great at the moment, but as we go on through the Grand Prix then, to be fair, lap number 5, there's a massive domino effect here. You've got Hamilton, I think that is, side by side with another car there, so a little bit of a slow showing from Hamilton there, the championship leader, as you've got the 2 Ferraris and the Red Bulls getting away, and so now we're speeding up a little bit. I will say this also, the DRS is activated right now in this race, so we've gone down the inside of Carlos Sainz, a massive dive there, basically did the copycat to what he did to us basically, and giving him a taste of his own medicine basically. Round the outside we go, and it's actually a very, very decent overtake there, so he should definitely be embarrassed by that, but the DRS is active in this race, so technically, if this was a longer race maybe, this could transition to dry weather. Like, this is a bit of a weird one where it's wet enough for the intermediates, but it's actually not wet enough for the FI to think it's too dangerous for DRS, so very weird conditions here. Almost want to say that, you know, maybe there was a chance to go on dry tyres at the start, but of course it's still too wet now. But very, very odd situation. You can see our open DRS on the main straight here as we go on to lap number 6, as we try and close up to Sergio Perez. You can see purple last sector, so clearly the engine power doing well up the hill and that last straight, but just in sectors 1 and sector 2, just got no confidence compared to other cars here in the corners. We try and keep up with Sergio Perez, but having to watch out for the engine heating as well, going down to stand and make sure not rich for too long there. And also on the ERS, I mean, we're abusing it right now in hot lap mode and overtake mode, but also need to watch that at some point here. But right now we are bunching up still due to the 2 Mercedes cars going a little bit slower, and you can see though myself having massive issues having to try and control a tank slapper there down the hill into sector 2. But we now move on to lap number 7. It's a massive dive from us down the inside of Sergio Perez there. Catch him napping somewhat, a little bit of contact there as we understeer, and that's literally just the natural understeer of the car there. But now we're side by side. It's a great little battle here, neck in neck. It's a drag race now to the next corner there. Open DRS though, and we're going to get the run on Sergio Perez, get the move done on the inside there. Lando Norris having a look at the 2 Mercedes cars. Albon behind Hamilton there. We get the job done though, and Sergio Perez up into P8 then. So slowly but surely we're making progress in this Grand Prix. We're about halfway through now, John, of the Grand Prix. So we move on now later onto lap number 9. We literally are now halfway through of the Grand Prix. Second half of the GP now to go, and Lando Norris is pressurising Alexander Albon. Can we try and close up and pressurise him? It's not even Albon, it's Hamilton, as the virtual safety cars out here. And looky, so the championship leader, Hamilton, only 2 places ahead. So I don't know, we jokingly said about the Drivers' Championship just earlier, right before, but you know, Hamilton, he's not doing too well right now in this race. I don't know what's going on with Mercedes really. Looks like Red Bull and Ferrari have marched ahead this race. So I don't know, let's all gather together maybe and just pray that maybe Hamilton gets some bad luck like he has been doing in my vanilla career mode potentially, because if it is the case, if he DNFs like he has been doing in that career mode, we could be in the money here. And I think the F1 gods kind of owe it to us, because we've had to drive this absolute IKEA desk on wheels for about 20 episodes. I deserve a little bit of good luck. I know we've had our fair share of good luck in the recent few episodes, but can there be too much good luck really when you're at a charity team like Williams? So we move on now through to lap number 12 then. Lando Norris has apparently got some issues there, we've been told by our team radio, but despite that he's actually going for a move on Hamilton then. So the 2 Brits side by side. Can we try and join them maybe into turn 1? This entire time also, you haven't noticed, you might have noticed, but I've actually had some gearbox issues, and so I've been missing some gears here and there, been missing second gear a fair few times. That's been rather annoying in sector 2, and right now I'm missing 4th gear, so that's really an issue for me when I'm trying to go down the gears for these big brake zones here. But we go for the move now. Lando Norris on the exit. We're going to get it done on the outside there. But you can see here having to go very easy and actually staying in 5th gear in that corner, just because I don't want to go down 1 gear, because I'm have to kind of short shift and skip it down to 3rd gear rather than 4th. Eventually 4th gear will come back to us there, but now lap number 16, the tyre wear is now kicking in massively for us. So although it's been wet enough for intermediates, it's been to a point where it's not wet enough where I feel like the tyre wear has been kind of over-exaggerated for this entire Grand Prix, because it's kind of semi-dry, semi-wet, and you can see the tyre wear is pretty piss poor. Like, give it maybe a few more laps, we'll be in puncture territory there, so a little bit worrying there for us, and we're going to have to try and just basically limp home through the last 2 laps of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't catch up to Hamilton. He eventually got away from us, so the dream of maybe overtaking him and trying to keep the title fight alive is kind of gone in the wind, and so unfortunately for us, it's a bit of a lackluster Brazilian Grand Prix in terms of it always was going to be with a full intermediate range, but the car bottlenecking me quite a fair bit. Really just couldn't do much today. The engine power not really pulling through, the aero non-existent there, so we're going to come through in P7, which to be fair, I think it's still a pretty decent result, all things considered, the weather and the situation where the car was today.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And Jeff with the random reactions once again. I mean, like I said, I'm not too amazed by that result, but he seems pretty darn happy with P7, but I think there would have been more in the car had it not been raining potentially, or even if the tyre wouldn't kick in as much there, but hey-ho. Unfortunately, though, this episode, for the first time in the 20 episodes this season, Claire did not want to talk to me for some reason. I don't really know why. You know, the second last race of this season, I don't know why she's blanked me here. I don't know what I said. Did I insult her too much last episode? Maybe I did, and she doesn't want to talk to me now. She's barred me from the pen, so I didn't get any questions from her. So in the Drivers' Championship, we moved out to P3 then, as Verstappen is up into P2, as he obviously went on and had a decent race there. So I think now the title hopes are kind of gone away. I think now is the time where we'll say that officially. Constructors-wise, obviously still looking good. We finished ahead of the McLarens today, so we book in again P4, and we do it again for one last time at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next time out, and that will be us solidifying that position for a very good bit of prize money for next year, of course. So that's been this episode then at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, the rain kind of put a damper on what it could have been potentially. I think the race could have been a lot more exciting had it not been for the rain as well. And I've got to say also at the moment, guys, I'm a little bit under the weather. You might be able to tell. So at the same time, I think my driving was affected a little bit by the fact that I've got a massive fever at the moment here. So getting some massive fever sweats whilst I was driving out there. So apologies for that. But yeah, it's just a festive time, cold air, all that jazz. Yeah, hopefully I get a little bit better in the next few days. But guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, subscribe for weekly follow-on content. I've been AARava. Hope you should stay. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.